let's see what the community thinks of Pixel Gun 2. Now, yes, this is my third video on a video game that doesn't even exist. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The announcement of Pixel Gun 2 lives rent-free in my brain. I haven't fully comprehended or accepted what is going to happen in 2026. Maybe it's a fear, maybe it's excitement. I really don't know how I feel about this announcement. Now, don't get me wrong. I want Pixel Gun 2 and Pixel Gun 3 to succeed, but I certainly have my doubts in the back of my mind. And it seems the community are in a very similar situation. Pixel Gun need to be very precise with this game, or it's simply not going to work. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. But today in this video, we're going to be reading the official comments on their official trailer via their YouTube channel. But first, I want to share with you something that one of you commented on my video. So I read all of my comments. I don't get as many as I used to back in the day, and I'll be honest, this channel isn't profitable whatsoever. That being said, I had this comment on my most recent Pixel Gun 2 video, and he said Pixel Gun 3D holds too much sentimental value for me to get happy at this, and probably for many others. Now, he has hit the nail on the head. And maybe that's what I'm feeling. We've been so engrossed in Pixel Gun 3D for over a decade now that the thought of another game, knowing the current situation of Pixel Gun 3D, kind of hurts in a way, is probably the best way to describe it. I'm not excited or optimistic about Pixel Gun 2. Again, because Pixel Gun 3D over the last 3 or 4 years hasn't been in a very good place. Sure, certain things have been pretty cool about the game, but the core aspect has not worked. They talked about balancing all of these weapons, then stopped. Pixel Gun have a terrible habit of telling us they're going to do things, and they don't proceed, and then they just ignore us. Many video games have done that in the past, and we all know how that turns out. So, yeah, let's go through what other people are actually saying about this. I'll probably go back and forth between my YouTube channel and Pixel Guns. The official trailer now has way over 100,000 views. So pretty much the whole entire community has seen it at this point. It's now starting to reach the wider community. Probably players who played Pixel Gun 3D back in the day. Don't quite have that sentimental value like we have. So they're just weighing in on their own opinions. And those are the ones I'm interested in this video. So as we scroll down, this has over 1,200 comments. That's quite a lot. We do have mine at the top, and I'm still in shock and surprised that we are getting a Pixel Gun 2. But also, shout out to Gumplings 596. I gotta get a job, apparently. Now, this guy has played Pixel Gun 3D many times in the past. Videos go back to 4 or 5 years ago. I like the fact that he had to clarify that he's not a racist. But thank you for the kind words. I'll get down to McDonald's tomorrow. But let's get into the more serious comments. The current top comment is this one. Pixel Gun 2, double the fun, double the microtransactions, with everybody weighing in on their opinion. Now, the other day, Pixel Gun released a Q&A, basically clarifying that they are fully aware that Pixel Gun 3D is a pay-to-win game. They basically said it without saying it, which, again, we all know this. The fact that the developers know this is quite a concern. The response says, customer, you've charged me 3 times. Cashier. Yeah, 3 times the flavor, 3 times the price. Now, we have a response to that says, the game has become F2P bruh. With free-to-play events, it's not because there are things to pay that it's pay to win. Now, yeah, Pixel Gun do have these in-game events. They are like rinse and repeat, but I'll be honest with you, as a free-to-play player, they are useful. However, The damage has already been done. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. The damage has already been done to Pixel Gun 3D, which makes these free-to-play events sure pretty useful from time to time. But the core game is actually a mess. Now, there's some optimistic people here. Game hasn't released yet. Be patient. And then it says, want to explain the current fix events? Why is the market locked behind a paywall? Sure, some things are free, but the main aspect is actually paid. But there's just a ton of responses to this, people weighing in their own opinions. Now, if we go to the next comment, it says, with more P2W features, meaning pay to win. Now, Pixagon did not respond to a comment like this, but they did, like I say, make that post the other day saying, hey, it's not going to be the same. We know it's pay to win. We're going to try and change this. So a lot of people are saying, give them a second chance. Again, I'm like this guy, knowing Pixagon's history, I wouldn't be so optimistic. I'm not optimistic. They can tell us a million times that things are going to be different, but unless they're willing to change it for sure, it's just not going to work. I love to be proven wrong, and I want this game to actually thrive. I really liked this comment, though. I need Pixagon Classic 2016-2017 version. I like this. If they're expanding the Pixagon universe, why not have Pixagon 3D, Pixagon 2, but also a classic version, man? Where it was just the old system, none of this garbage that we have in the modern day. And then another top comment is this one. More pay-to-win features, 75% more with unbalanced guns, 50% less maps. Yeah, what's the deal with maps in this game these days? 15% features removed, 69 big guns, Skibidi Toilet, Battle Pass Premium Deluxe Box, 5 pop-ups every time an employee breathes. Oh, dude. The pop-ups in Pixagon 3D, oh my days. They are one of, if not the most painful things in this game. Honestly, dude. How many of you have misclicked? Because my hand is right up there. Then we did have a comment from the real Squiddy YT. This is why I'm making Pixel Royale, screw nostalgia baiting and pay to win, bro. Some people have just given up already. They don't believe Pixagon deserve a second chance, and I don't blame them. There needs to be less yapping and more action from the developers. They need to give us a better Q&A. Like I said in my previous video, I want to know the nitty-gritty stuff. How are you going to beat this pay-to-win aspect? How are you going to beat the microtransaction experience? You can tell us a million things, but unless you actually provide actions and evidence, I just don't think we're going to get there, and I just don't think you're going to persuade the community. Tim Tam Chips 01 said, exactly 10 years ago at this exact time of year, you guys already had a Pixagon 2 as a beta. It was called Pixagon World. You then shut it down after less than a year, just like you did with Block City Wars Remake last year. Now you're going nostalgia baiting with Pixagon 3. I mean, it's, yeah, in a way, it's basically the same. And then he said, no Crystal League gadgets, no Ruby League, the numerous clan and equipment overhauls that were promised, working anti-cheats. Now, this is a comment that I agree with, and this is what I'm talking about with the false promises. So many things have been promised and just have not been delivered. Now, if they had come out a long time ago and said, listen, guys, we're working on something big. We can't reveal anything just yet. We're having to take a slight step back on development of Pixagon 3D, but we will have a roadmap for you. I think the community would have been disappointed, but a little bit more accepting. Pixagon's transparency is garbage. As a content creator in a private chat with these developers, their communication is awful. We didn't know about Pixagon 2. When you're not willing to tell your top creators about your projects, then what are we gonna think, right? Because at the end of the day, although the community is the most important thing, for any video game industry now, content creators and social media influencers are just as important. We didn't know about this, which is absolutely bonkers. So yeah, the false promises, they really hurt. The lack of transparency. Maybe it's because it's a language barrier. A lot of the employees obviously once lived in Russia, now live in Cyprus, a part of GDev. The lack of communication is terrible. And I've said that for a very long time, and it never ever changes. So this is what a lot of people are currently feeling in the community. Yeah, the Steam page having PG2 listed as free and the mention of the in-game purchases tells me that this is going to be another pay-to-win mess, where a majority of the weapons are useless because they don't one-shot from across the map. Could be wrong. Hope I am. I want Pixel Gun to be good, but it looks like it's just everything wrong with PG 3D, but with a 2 and a fresh coat of paint. And that's kind of how I am. Again, how are they going to do things differently? Tell us. I want to know. And then a little bit further down, this before GTA 6 is crazy. A little bit further down, instead of making something new and abandoning PG 3D just to fix the game you already established, make it less pay to win. And the developer said, both games will continue to live and grow. Classic PG 3D isn't going anywhere. We're not shutting down. We're expanding the Pixel universe. I'm not sure why they confirmed it 3 times there. But they have said they're planning to create both games side by side. I mean, they can't currently create one game and let it be successful. We had Block City Wars 2.0. That was abandoned. They did have an old game that was like Fallout. That was abandoned. So, yeah, I don't really know about this. I'm trying to find the comments that they've responded to. I bet it'll be more pay to win than ever before. We heard all your feedback about classic PG 3D and we're doing things differently. We focused on skill, fair balance, and better in-game economy. Again, it's fine them saying this, and I hope it's true, but you gotta show it to us. More money, more money. Please add more microtransactions. In this one, I love pay to win. And they said with Pixel Gun 2, we're doing things differently. There's no explanation as to how they're going to do things differently. I guess we're still in early development. Oh, not so much in early development because it's coming out in, I would say, like 9-10 months time. Give or take. And then again, they are talking about thank you for comparing us to one of the biggest entertainment products, even though that's just a meme. When you look at the most recent comments, these are people who are probably discovering Pixel Gun's announcement later on, probably played the game back in the day, but they're not promising comments. It's pay to win, more microtransactions, a game we didn't want, let it die, fix your current game before you make a new one. They need to do something with Pixel Gun 3D before they go ahead and release this. They should have given us the Final World campaign, because the fact that they haven't ended that and we're in 2025 is absolutely insane. Probably because it's not profitable for them and they can't monetize a campaign. They probably could find a way. So yeah, there's just so many people saying like, I don't have hope. And that should be concerning for the developers. I hope that their actions speak louder than words, but yeah, this is what the community is thinking of the official announcement. This seems to be a very popular comment as well. I think Pixel Gun 2 will be popular in the first 2 weeks of its release, and then people will just go back to the old Pixel Gun. Now, Cubic Games and Pixel Gun 3D won't want this. They will want you to play their new game. They might not admit it. They might say they're going to develop them side by side, but no. If they were to make a game, people play it for 2 weeks and went back to the old one, that would be a waste of resources, time, money, and a very big concern. They have to do something right with this game in order to keep the player base, because the core Pixel Gun community, although they've stuck around for a very long time, they're not very forgiving. So yeah, that's what the community has been saying about Pixel Gun 2. It's less, I would say it's less positive. It's definitely a more negative response, and Pixel Gun now need to focus on marketing and turning people's opinions all the way around.